Perfect. Can you make me host, please? Let me change my name on here.
Sorry.
That's okay. How was that honor flight, Lynn?
Amazing.
Oh,
To
good.
the point where I'm going to set up a system in my company where we will support our team members taking their family members. We'll pay the guardianship fee and give them the day off so that they can have that experience.
Wow.
So I'm working on that this morning already because I just got in it and in bed at 3:15 a.m. last night because it was such amazing, phenomenal experience.
Aw.
So I can't tell you, if you have a chance to ever do it, absolutely. It will change you.
Aw.
It's phenomenal. We had
Amazing.
one World War II veteran. There were Korean veterans and quite a number of Vietnam veterans, because of course the World War II and the Korean veterans are dying off, unfortunately. So, but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get into all that. That's the reason I seem foggy today. So,
No worries, Lynn.
hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi. Lynn Child, my sister-in-law's father just turned 105 years old.
Yes.
And he's a vet, and they did a story on Fox News on him. And he still lives on his own and still in his right mind.
Well, then he would be a perfect candidate to go on something like Honor Flight if he was in the military. I assume that's why they did the story, or because of his age.
No, they did it because he's a vet.
Mm-hmm. He'd be perfect. And they're so good about it. I mean, on our flight, we probably had 6 or 8 wheelbound vets, and they get first priority. I mean, we all sit on the plane until they get each of them off. They have to lift them up and take them down. And it takes an extra half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on how many they have. But it's amazing. And the homecoming, I mean, I have a video of it. You would not believe it. There were 600 or 700 people with flags and banners, and they do mail call. I mean, if you've never experienced it, I highly recommend it. If you have anybody that's, family or friends, look into it.
Aw.
That's awesome.
But I think he'd be perfect to go if he would want to go. You get to see all the different war memorials. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if he's been. I'll have to ask her, because all this time he may have already been on that trip.
He may have.
Mm-hmm.
Are we expecting lots of folks today, or no? Or
Yeah, Dr. K, that's a good question, Lynn. Are we like in a prep room, or are we in the actual meeting room? Uh-oh.
Did we lose Dr. K?
Maybe. Dr. K, did we lose you?
Well, it looks like she's still on.
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
back. Sorry, somebody rang the doorbell.
No worries. We were just asking if this is the group, or if we're in a prep room to go into the.
No, this is the group that's joined.
Okay.
So I sent a
Okay.
reminder email around 11:15 this morning.
Okay.
Just making sure that people have the link and things like that. But I would say I think the conversation, the way it kind of started, was really good, and began to talk about how you all can work together and help each other out. I think it's completely fine.
Okay. So since we're all part of forum here, just to kind of bring you guys up to speed, there was a conversation on October 26th about doing business with the government. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that. I think Angela Morrow was really involved in the programming for that event, but I don't think the timing of this today worked out for her. So hopefully she can give us a download during our next forum group meeting. But the idea of this was to really present the information that was covered on the 26th. Nationals hasn't put that information into the forum SharePoint yet. So I'm still working to get a recording of that event or get my hands on the notes. I know Tina was on. Tina, how was that?
It was good.
It was good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to go back in my mind's eye now. Do you remember what the date that was?
October 26th.
Oh, that was before vacation. So
Well,
my brain is just, yeah.
well,
I
hopefully we can get a recording of it and share it. I know they usually do a pretty good job of that in our in the forum SharePoint drive, but unfortunately it's not there yet. So if I receive anything from Kate Kelly, I'll forward it to all of our
Okay.
forum members.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about getting I remember correctly, I go back to my mind's eye. I think they had a panel and the new representative from WIP was on it. There was somebody maybe from PTAC, and then I can't remember who the third person was. It was a gentleman. And they were just talking about the importance of making sure that you're certified, have your WOSB certification, make sure you're in SAM, and all of that. And the woman that is with WIP, she has her own business. Apparently, she's doing a lot of business on the government side. So she was talking through her experience and the importance of staying aware, doing your research, because you never know what types of services or products that are needed. So don't discount yourself, your
Mhm.
business. And they talked about, collaborating with others so that you could go after some larger contracts as well. So it's slowly starting to come back in my brain. October was a busy, crazy, fuzzy month for me. So I think that's what I'm recalling from that. But it was well
Mhm.
attended, and lots of people asked questions. So I think it was a worthwhile session. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done any, and we haven't had any exposure to being successful in the federal contracts, but we are part of SAM.gov, so we get those notices and have been trying to like actively participate if we feel like they fit kind of our area of expertise. On the Ohio buy side, I've talked to Tina about this in the past. We were able to secure the bid from the Ohio Department of Medicaid, but it was a very competitive bid, meaning like it was pretty close to the bone for us. And unfortunately, they have been extremely, extremely, extremely slow. And I think that our team here feels like they've put a lot of hours into this for what they
Mhm.
haven't been able to bill yet.
Yeah.
So, from what I'm hearing, that's kind of like to be expected. And so we do have two people here at Hunter that it's not their primary focus, but it is their responsibility to kind of stand up Hunter government programs, and they have had more success going like the subcontract route, looking at people who are getting these large contracts. Because usually for our area anyway, staffing, you don't staff the project until you know you're going to get the project, right? Especially with some of the big ones. So they've had more success in conversations of watching other large bids awarded and trying to like support those bids, and getting our footing that way.
Are you finding it hard to make the connections with the people, with the companies that are getting the bids, to talk to you about tier two?
So, I have not heard that from them yet, so I don't think they're having an issue with that. I think that it's as you can put as many hours into it as you want to put into it. And so I think that's the balancing act, right? Like you could spend 40 hours a week just mining who received all of these awards and getting your information in those hands. I think because of the category of staffing and how these projects aren't staffed until they know they're awarded the work, like their conversation probably picks up a little bit more pretty quickly because of, what they're offering, which is basically like a temp or contingent workforce that can step in pretty quickly to support the project.
Okay. Fine.
And then we're actively part of Ohio Buys. So I don't know, Lynn, if you're part of Ohio Buys.
Yep. Sam, Pete Tech, Ohio Buys, we monitor all of those. And I have to say, they really don't produce much for us. Every once in a great while, there might be one. And one of the things that surprised us, we did do a RFP. We don't do a lot of them because the return rate's not great, but we did respond to one that was almost, I mean, it was so precise and perfect for us. And they actually awarded it to a Pennsylvania company, which shocked me. I mean, I was like, what? Yeah. So I don't have a lot of faith in that. We don't spend a lot of time in those areas because the return just has not been. And then when we do spend time on it and it goes to somebody out of state and they're taking Ohio dollars out of the state of Ohio, I have a lot of trouble. So, and that just happened in October. I mean, we just got word in October that happened. And I mean, it was so perfect for us. It was like we met all the criteria. I don't understand it. And there's no way to get any information afterwards.
Right.
Sometimes when we've done RFPs, they'll have a debrief afterwards to help you learn. Okay, what was it and why weren't we chosen? That was not an opportunity in this particular one. So I don't put a lot of faith, unfortunately, in my experience with federal. If you're talking about Sam, P-Tech, Ohio Buys is fairly new for us because we just were certified. So it would be helpful for me if anybody wants to share what's going on with the state of Ohio. You just shared, Abby, about their slow pay, which is a problem for small business. Any other insights anybody wants to share about certification with the state?
Sorry not to jump in again on Ohio Buys, but I do think they're getting more and more departments into the umbrella of Ohio Buys. For instance, like I met with the mayor of the city of Cleveland, Mayor Bibb, and he was like, what's Ohio Buys? So it's still new. Different groups are still adopting the Ohio Buys system, but they hope to get everyone under the umbrella. So some groups are definitely more active than others, you'll see. But I have found that there's usually a contact from Ohio procurement that you can reach out to and talk to. Now, they won't give you information specific to the bid because they just won't be from that group or department. But I found in my experience that they are helpful in terms of like using the tool, general questions. How does this work? Will I get feedback? I've been able to actually speak to that live person, like, and get on a first name basis with them.
Is this regional? Is this someone that would be regional, or is this someone that
It's
would be a contact
state.
for all of us?
It would be, it's whoever is your Ohio Buys contact for that bid. So for each like bid, I think it's assigned to a person from the Ohio Buys system who kind of manages the tool and any, technology issues with the tool, uploading your bid proposal, all of that good stuff.
Okay, so there isn't just one person that's assigned to a company, it's assigned to a bid. So therefore, there really isn't one main contact.
Right.
For Ohio Buys. Okay, thank you. That's helpful to know.
Yeah, but you should see it on your like request number, whatever the bid number that comes out.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And I do think, Lynn, if you get into bidding some of those and have a question, I think I did save his email because he emailed me back from his personal email and I was like, oh,
Yes,
a contact. So I have to dig through, but
it's fine. I just appreciate the information because what I'm finding is I'm taking the resources, as all of you would, and I'm focusing more on where I can get that better return. And we've tried all these different things and it's just, we'll keep monitoring it, but we won't spend a lot of time unless I really find one that's precisely what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like, we've adopted that just this year.
That's sad to hear because when I first got started, I went through P-TAC and, got all set up in Sam's and all that. And just trying to get your foot in the door, not even in the door, but at the door. And I talked to somebody up in DC and they said, well, you're going to need to be in DC to do what you're trying to do. And I was like, so how can I do that when I live in Cincinnati? She said, well, you just going to have to, make that intent to show up. I'm like, I got little kids and I can't do that. I can't just be in DC. And she's like, well, for the level of professional services that you offer, the majority of the contracts at that time were being awarded more to companies out of that area. So it was a lot of work, as you know, getting all set up and making the contacts and trying to do the bids correctly. So it was very frustrating. So it's frustrating to hear, but it's still the same.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, and you're required every year to renew, and that's a whole process. So it's not like the first year is always, the most challenging, like it is with WeBank, but every year it seems, and they change the systems. So every year we're spending more time on those sorts of things without the value back. I guess a question for this group, would it be helpful if we actually had somebody from Ohio Buys on a call and focus on just state government contracts? Find somebody from the Ohio Department of Development, find somebody from Ohio Buys, and just have a dedicated session on how to do business with the state of Ohio. Have we done that? I mean, the government was federal and state and broader, but would that be helpful, or have we done that and I just missed it?
Dr. K, do you know if we've done something like that in the past?
Yeah, I'm looking at the dates. There was a workshop on how to do business with the state of Ohio. It was our first one that we did of this series back in April.
Okay.
But I don't know if they dive deep into what you're looking for. Probably not.
And I'm not talking about PTAC. I work a lot with PTAC in our area. We do cyber webinars for them at no cost. I mean, I work with them a lot. I'm talking more about the Ohio Buys and the Ohio Department of Development. PTAC is federal. I'm talking about state, which would be Ohio Buys, and I don't know what else would be.
I've got their PowerPoint presentation that they sent. At least I should. Give me 1 second. Let me take a look and see if I have it, if I can flip through it and see if there's any information in there at all. Give me just a moment, though.
Okay, but thank you.
Sure.
So, Lynn, remind me, if you were part of the Humana cohort, were you?
No, I was not.
Lynn Moore, sorry, Lynn.
Oh, sorry.
Conrad, our president, was more of their, their supplier development program, you mean?
Yes. So I think he was in the first year, I was in the second year, or
gotcha. Yeah, he was.
Or maybe I was in the third year, I don't even know, but I just finished it. And
good.
They did have someone great from government there as well. So it might be something to have to think about for 2024. Monica Womack, who's the Chief Minority Business Development, is coming tomorrow to the office. And so she's going to say a few remarks at our executive reception. So she works under Director Mahalick's group, right? I think she's within that group of the Ohio Department of Development. So I could ask her if there's some opportunity, and if they are tethered to Ohio Buys, or if Ohio Buys is separate from the Ohio Department of Development. Because
she and I also have a meeting actually while she's en route to you.
To
talk about some conversations surrounding some workshops and different things that that she'd like to do with ORV as well. So I can make a note to ask about the Ohio Buys. When I look through this presentation from the state of Ohio, there's nothing in there about the Ohio Buys. If I recall, this was right after the MOU was set up between ORV and the state. And I think this workshop focused on that agreement, sharing information about that agreement. But I'll make a note to ask Monica about Ohio Buys tomorrow, and then I'll let you all know.
Okay.
Hey, Gabby, is this something that maybe we should do? They should consider for Catch the Wave.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because that's gonna hit all of our RPO, and I bet there would be a lot of people that are interested on that track.
Yeah,
Just
that's
a
a
thought.
really good idea. And I think, we talked about, Dr. K and I talked about just briefly yesterday, and I synced up with Molly briefly as well about maybe rethinking what forum we'll do for 2024. So yeah, we can talk through some of that then too during our next forum meeting.
Okay.
But I know we had 21 registered for today. About 7 of those, I think, were forum members. So overall, I know Dr. K had shared like the, attendance. I feel like for these webinars or sessions continues to be a challenge for ORV, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Tina, it probably is a good idea if you're putting something like that together to have it be at a in-person venue like Catch the Wave.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabby, did you say there were supposed to be 21 of us on this today?
Yes.
Is there a problem with maybe the link? Why none of them would? It's just unusual that.
Did Molly's email say that she registered us? I don't know. Did that 21 include her registering all of us from forum? I'm not sure.
It
Oh.
does, but I actually only see, and I don't see 21. I see, I think 13. 1, 2, 3.
And there's 14 of us in forum,
6,
right?
8, 9, 10, 11.
Right.
13 that I see. I see Barb on here. I see both Lynn's. I see Tina. I see Kelly. I see Jill. I see
That was what
Tara.
it was.
So that's forum. And
Yep.
then I see Savannah Fry. She works with Jill. Brianna Snyder, Kathy Waddle, Chantel Williamson, and Lori Yoho are really the only non-forum members that I see that expressed interest in this particular session.
Okay.
So this may be an opportunity, Gabby, for next year for forum to think about, because that session was open to everybody, and there were a lot of people on that call. So maybe we think about doing something different to connect with the RPO. This may be overkill, particularly if they already went to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Okay.
I know everybody's busy. I don't want to eat up a half hour unless there's like something else we should be covering, or someone's hiding some secret to all the government contracts that pay the day you get the contract. Please come forward now.
I'll say I was on the call. I don't know that I have much more than what Tina already. I think that one thing that stood out to me, because it was a bit, I'm like a tier 1 in one of our contracts out of Memphis, or tier 2 rather, sorry. And the FARs, they talked a lot about those FARs regulations and really understanding them and knowing them. And I know that's something, being the person that kind of went through all that is like blows my mind how many things you have to read through and understand. So they did kind of mention that. It took me a while to find my notes too from that day. Making sure you understood those and making sure you really understood the contracts you're, assuming you get one, making sure you really understand the contracts and have attorneys review them. And that was actually something under the lessons learned or things to avoid that they talked about. So I don't know that I have any other, golden nuggets for anybody. It was, there's a lot of different information, but for me, it's just still the obstacle of getting in and just figuring out the best pathway in. And so, yeah.
I can share just real quickly. I was a panelist or a presenter at the October Women of Color, and I co-presented with Carla. I think it was Carla from NiSource, and there was a slide or a section which she did about doing business with corporates that
Mhm.
had to do with DFARS. It also had to do with stressing the different things that someone needs to think about if you're going to be doing something with a large corporate or
Yeah.
a government. She also stressed the importance of cyber insurance, which a lot of the smaller weebies really need to look at that because it's expensive before
Yeah.
they even decide whether they want to do something on the Fed or state or on the corporate level. So just throwing those two things out since you brought up DFARS.
Mhm. Yeah. They did say that they're very serious about cybersecurity, so you probably would not get a contract if you're not paying for cyber insurance. Unfortunately,
That's
it is
correct.
expensive, but you're probably not gonna be awarded anything without that.
Right. And meeting the DFARS requirements, and the companies are getting more and more because there's been so many hacks through
Mhm.
third-party vendors. That's
Yeah.
the reason it's getting more and more strict.
So is that
Yeah.
different than GDPR compliance, Lynn?
Yes, that helps. If you're working on GDPR compliance, that you'll have a huge leg up, but
Okay,
some of the criteria are different
okay,
on the DFAR side.
okay. Yeah, we went through that, I think like a year and a half ago to become
Mhm.
GDPR compliant, but
Well, and you'll have a huge leg up. So if you
Okay.
start looking at DFARS, and if there are things you want to do, especially on the federal side and with
Mhm.
some of the large corporates, they're going
Right.
more and more. They're looking at what are known as the cybersecurity frameworks, and there's protocols for cybersecurity underneath those. The big one they're looking at is NIST 800-171. So that's what you would want to look at if you want to start, if you have cyber people and you want them to look at a framework. And then the other big one, especially for federal contracting in some agencies, is CMMC. Those are the two big ones right now. And they're all evolve around DFARS.
Okay.
So that
That's
was
good.
good that you brought that up, Lynn. You're absolutely right.
Well, it just stood out to me because I was so very confused by it.
It's very confusing. It's a whole series of compliance that you have to go
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I'm gonna have to jump off, but it was good hearing all your voices and getting some more information, some more nuggets about this.
Yeah.
And Gabby,
Between
good
this
luck
and
tomorrow
ESG.
at your reception. I'm
Thank
sorry, I
you.
really wanted to be there, but my life got turned upside down when we were asked, or when we were permitted to go on honor flight, which was not
No.
exactly planned.
No,
So
that's amazing that you get to have that experience and that memory with your dad. So no, I understand. We'll all get here at some point.
I'll look forward to it, but I do apologize. I had
Take
every
a lot of
intention of being
pictures.
there.
Take
Absolutely. You
pictures.
send us pictures, Gabby, of your reception
I
tomorrow,
will.
please.
I will.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lynn. All right. Well, take
right,
care,
ladies.
everyone.
All
Thank
right,
you for
bye.
joining.
Everybody
Good
have a
to
good
see you
day.
all.
Thank
You
you,
too.
everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone. They're going to be
You
here before
too.
you know it.
I
Yes,
know.
they will.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.